Okay, D. So I'm going to critique your warding in this game because Jiff said he sucks at it, and I'm not great at warding, but I'm probably better than he is. Dirty ADC main. Um, so the most important thing about warding is you do have to understand what your team comp is and what your win condition is, because if you don't know what your win condition is, you don't know what sort of plays your team's going to be making, and if you don't know what sort of plays your team's going to be making, you don't know where to put vision, and if you don't know where to put vision, then why are you even bothering buying Sightstone? Other than to appease your idiot teammates. Not that your teammates are idiots. But, so your team is just a stereotype, or it's not a stereotype, but it's pick comp, right? Annie, Vi, Pantheon all do very good jobs of singling out one person and making sure that they get accelerated back. And Sivir just helps accentuate this. And so what you want your team's win condition is you need to take advantage of the fact that you do have, well, you should have had 4 winning lanes. It didn't quite work out this way because Plasma's lane got fucked over by his DCs, and Blitzcrank just sucks. I think you guys could have played this lane a little bit more aggressively, and definitely sort of think you should have been pushing a little bit more than you were. But I think that's partially because Johnny just got flamed about perma-shoving every wave in existence, so he's probably letting it push into him a little bit more, which is fine. Having one lane being pushed in just draws your jungler to you, which is always fine. But anyways, you should have your win condition is you've got 3 winning lanes. You use those winning lanes to very quickly take all 3 outer towers. Once you have all 3 outer towers, you push your vision deep into the enemy's jungle, either bot side or top side, depending on just how the dynamic of the game is going. Once you've sort of secured vision deep in one or even both of their sides of their jungle, you take the outer ring, and then you just it's probably usually by that point it's sub 20 minutes. You can take Baron and push for the victory, and that's sort of your perfect goal. All the while you've got this pick comp, so you're just trying to take these towers out very quickly and limit your opponent's vision on the map, so that they have to walk into the dark jungle, and then your pick comp just excels and picks them off and kills them, and then you just snowball that into objectives and whatnot. So what this means is, in this comp more than any other, you need to buy control wards. So you didn't have enough gold for control ward this back, so you're forgiven, but every other back from now, you should have bought a control ward. Because they're just control wards. Not only do they get you vision, but they deny your opponent vision. So they're very important. I'm also, a big thing you do this game is you don't ever start acquiring this aggressive deep vision, and if you don't get if you never start getting it, it's very hard to acquire vision deep. Like, the first ward I always look for is if you can get a ward in this bush, it opens up this whole jungle. It makes it a lot easier for you to get wards into these deep rushes and screw with your opponents. So I skipped to this point because this is your first time you're coming back with Sightstone. You'll notice you come straight down the lane. I rarely, if ever, do this, especially when my ADC is back behind me, because if my ADC is behind me, I know I've got at least a couple seconds, probably 5 to 10, before he even gets to lane. And usually in this situation, they've been shoving the lane. It's going to be into tower, so your ADC can farm safely under tower while you're off getting vision down. So in this situation, I would have been tempted to run down, this sort of route down mid lane. It would have coincided nicely with green being here to provide you with some level of safety. Not to mention you'd killed a bunch of people or whatever. The map was fairly safe, and I would have looked to get this ward, sort of just walked in, got this ward, then walked down river, and then depending on where the wave is, usually you have to go up through here. When you're here, you can get the ward in there, and then you walk into lane. And that gives you sort of a nice go at vision. This ward right here protects you from most ganks. Most of the ganks are going to give you guys trouble anyways. And then if you do push the lane up such that you need this ward, you can always acquire it later because you'll have 1 ward left over. So that's how I would have done wards in this one. I'm going to go fairly quickly through this game because it doesn't matter. You can see you ended up waiting there for a couple seconds anyways. So if you had been a little bit more aggressive, you could have gone and got that vision sooner. We're just gonna fast forward fairly quickly, because I really don't care about most of this. We're mostly just waiting for your next back, because when you're pushed in like this, you don't really have lots of opportunity to get vision. Okay, it decided we need to slow down. I don't know why. So again, your job is a lot easier if you guys are pushed up. It gives you options to get in there. Here's an opportunity. So you're sitting on one ward, and your team is pushing in tower. Question is, do you need to be here, right? Because you're Nami, you do no damage. You don't help them take down this tower more quickly. So if you'd already acquired, if you'd done like I had and gone and got this ward here, you can look to put a ward in here, or if you're really feeling aggressive, you can put a ward down in there, but I don't think you'd ever be able to do that. Not because Riven, well, we can see she's right there, so she would have been warding this, but like this is an opportunity. You could have looked for some deep vision. You know, put a ward in this brush. It makes doing Dragon safer, because with a ward in this brush, and you know, maybe even put a ward right here would be better than a ward in this brush, but if you put a ward there, then they can't approach this dragon without you knowing, and it helps secure it. I mean, it doesn't make a huge difference. You went and did this. That word is not bad. All things considered, Norix is inting. So, you get another back in, you have a new set of wards. So, you have to ask yourself, where's the objectives on the map? So you just took Dragon, it's not going to be up for another 5 minutes. You really don't need wards around the bottom side, especially since you've taken their tower, so you're probably not going to be sitting in lane to get ganked anymore, right? Like, laning phase is over at this point. Your team doesn't want to lane, because you smash everything so thoroughly, and you don't really benefit from a slower laning game. So you want to start looking for opportunities to acquire deep vision. Part of this is a knowledge game, so your team is fighting right here. You don't know Nasus is here, but you know these three are sitting around here. This is your opportunity. You know this is an opportunity. You can look to acquire vision deep in this side of the river, because you want to be playing around top side, right? Because you can't, it's very difficult unless you get a lot of vision in the bottom side to acquire this second bot tower. And especially seeing as these two outers are up, there's no reason to be pushing for this tower when you can just acquire vision on the top side of the jungle, which or the top side either in the river. So I'd be looking for a ward in this bush for sure. You have a control ward, that's a great spot for a control ward. I'd look for, you probably can acquire a ward in here fairly safely. And then I put a ward here, and I keep my last one just as a reserve. I don't know where I'd put it. You don't need to place a ward there, or you don't need to place your third ward. And then with these three wards, that one's maybe not the best, but definitely with one here and then one farther up in this brush, you can see a fair bit. If your team ever goes for Rift Herald, which Jiff flamed you about, it helps secure Rift Herald, because whenever you go to make that play, you can rotate down and you can put a ward in here and cover both entrances, so they can't. It makes it much more difficult to contest for them. Instead, you go bot, and because, I mean, Johnny really probably shouldn't have gone back right here, but whatever. You haven't dropped any of your wards yet. I mean, you end up fighting, but I wonder if you wouldn't have been better going on a warding of expedition. Anyways, you're back. So this is another opportunity to ward. The game hasn't changed much. I'm still looking for those same wards. Your control ward got dropped there. Is that you? It doesn't say. I'm assuming that's your control ward. I don't like that control ward particularly in this game because, as I already mentioned, Dragon's down. It's not coming up for another couple minutes. You really don't want to be playing around top side anymore at all, seeing as or bottom side rather, seeing as your tower's down and their tower's down. There's no reason to be bottom side right now, especially since all the towers are on the top side of the map. So this is a case where you buy another control ward, because if we press X, oh, you didn't have enough money. Whatever. I would have bought a control ward. I wouldn't have placed my, well, you maybe had to place a control word there, I don't know. It's not a good control word. I would have rather had that control word here, or even here, although that's a little bit more safe than I would have liked. You're trying to acquire aggressive vision in this game because you guys want to be making picks, and defensive wards don't enable you guys to make picks. Just pushing through. So again, you haven't placed any of your wards, and you're just sitting here in this siege. You're not. I mean, if they engage on you, engage on them. You need to be there. Then like this play is over. You can start looking for vision elsewhere. Like you can wander up here and put a ward over here to protect your flank for this siege, which is very good. I mean, you've already got that word, but it just gives you a little bit more time. You can also, if you're not feeling the top side of the map, because I find warding in stills like this hard because I never know where I think the enemies would be. But if you're not feeling the top side of the map because you think your opponents are up there, which they are, you can always go and drop a ward here. This ward is really good because once Dragon comes up, Dragon's up actually in a minute and a half. So screw warding the top side of the map. Dragon's your next objective. I don't know which one it is. No one knows which one it is. So you want to be looking for dragon wards. So when you're playing an aggressive team comp like this, where you win pre like 25 minutes, you want to be looking for deep vision. You want to be in the river first when you're going to contest this dragon. So you want to have wards so you can see your opponents as you're entering river, because the most likely play for this, what I see for this, is you push this wave in, you look for this tower, and then if you can get it in the next 30 to 45 seconds, that's great. You reset. Otherwise, you just sort of stalemate out the siege until 20 seconds, and then you sort of move towards river and look to start contesting dragon. However, you do need to enable that play. You do need vision in this brush, and I mean, if all possible, I'd love to get a ward in this brush, but I don't. Because you've never acquired this deep vision in their enemy jungle, it's very difficult to ward right there. Because yes, you can walk over and get this ward, but you have no idea where these two people are, and they might be over here looking to kill you. So, ward right there. You've still got all three of your wards. You can ward. If I had to say right now, I'd ward there and there, and I'd keep my last ward as a stopgap. Instead, you reset, and did you place your wards? You did. And these two wards are terrible. Why? Dragon's coming up. Dragon's the next objective. So these two defensive wards, not to mention the fact that they're defensive wards, your team is strong right now. You're in your power spike. Yes, you're not ahead in gold, but you're probably still just as powerful as them. Jinx isn't as strong as she would want to be right now. Veigar, if he hadn't got quite as fed, wouldn't be quite as strong as he is now. Riven's fucking useless. Right, you've just killed Nasus. These two defensive wards won't... dollars to donuts, they're not doing anything for you. Instead of warding... instead of warding up here pointlessly because you, A, don't need defensive vision, and B, don't... I mean, the call right now would have been to go for Rift Herald, but if you're going to go for Rift Herald right now, how are these two defensive wards going to help you? Right, so look for aggressive vision on the dragon side, because to me dragon's the next play. Or if you'd been doing like what I had and had vision already set up, so gone out when you first went out, you would have got vision already on this side of the map, which could have made this Rift Herald play a little bit more juicy. Not that side vision really matters because you guys ain't around this whole game. So just a shot calling notice. Dragon's about to come up. You're not succeeding in this siege. You needed to move into this river to contest for dragon sooner. You needed to be in there already. If you guys were, positioned around here, you can always fall back to your Sivir. Annie's out in the middle of nowhere doing nothing. But you can always fall back and look to contest that dragon a little bit easier through river. Right, like, Narcs has the right idea. He's doing what he has to do. He wants to contest dragon, even if he doesn't know it. And he's already moved there. You're super out of position right now. Like, you can't help any. If a fight were to break out right now, you'd have to walk along here to help out, and I see all of this wanting to move in like this. See, right? Whereas if you're over here, you're just in your front line's in front of you, rather off to your side, and they can protect you in a fight. So you don't want to be in mid right now. And you back right as Dragon comes up. I mean, it's Cloud Dragon, who gives a fuck? But he could have contested it. And if you guys had already been in here, this power play where they just walked in and took Dragon would have been a lot more difficult for them. Right, and you'll notice your two nice defensive wards. Have they done anything yet? Have they even seen anyone? And now they're gone. What the fuck? 2 wards? It's like 2 Shens, but less good. So you've come back from another back. You have to sort of think, what are the objectives right now? Mid tower is the only objective on the map. It's far, unless someone gets a decisive fight, they're not going for Baron. So you don't really need Baron vision. Dragon's still 5 minutes away, probably 4 minutes now. So you don't need vision around there. So you need vision to enable you to get this tower, which means wards deep, which are very hard to get right now because you have no preliminary vision. If you get vision in this brush, you know, in here, in this brush, it enables you in subsequent things, just because you have a better idea of where opponents are, and you can get farther into their jungle safely, right? Because if you were to walk all the way right here, you have to walk through all this dark, whereas if you have a ward right here, you know all of this is, you know, relatively safe, so you only have to walk through this little bit of dark, and you have, you know, you've got minions pushing up. You sort of have a rough idea where they all are. It makes it much easier. My favorite, personally, the wards I'm looking for right now are like the trifecta wards, or the like Illuminati wards. I look for a ward in that brush, a ward for that in that brush, a ward in that brush, and you can use your control ward, which you don't have on the map, or well, you have one right there, but it's fucking useless. You can use your control ward defensively, whereas defensive vision is in the river, either in either pixel brush, whichever one you feel is better. If I had to pick one, I'd say this pixel brush is probably more relevant, just because as a team, I'm thinking you want to take this tower, rotate bot, and take this tower. Just because I like, you can always go. It's very easy later in the game to go for this top tower because you can contest top tower while still protecting Baron, whereas if this bottom tower's up, it's harder to contest this tower and protect Baron with your 4-man or your 5-man. So I look to take this tower out as for all the inners that are the most important to take down. This one and this one are my favorite, and this top outer I'll leave it all game if I can. But this mid outer is your most important objective, and you need deep vision. Ideally, you'd get either the trifecta ward so that your team can play, on this side of the lane and look to fall back, because if you have these 3 wards, it's impossible to be in this jungle without you knowing. Or you can look for a ward in there and a ward in there, and then you have another free ward just to place however it catches your fancy. It's unfortunate that Ysiver's off by herself right now. So you get a lot of shit. We already bugged you about doing absolutely nothing right here. If you'd gone mid as 4-man, would have been great. You wouldn't have no wards right now, but this would have been an excellent opportunity to go get those trifecta wards, right? Because you killed 2 of them. You have your whole bloody team. Just walk in there, get some vision, and walk out. Like if we go back 30 seconds, like, let's see, you just finished this fight. You see Veigar on the map. You don't know where Riven is, but that's whatever. You can go. If you already have this ward, it's super easy, because you see Riven doing that. You see her leave this way, right? You know she's in mid lane. It's super easy to go get this ward. You can look to push up this ward. You're creating a shit ton of pressure on mid lane because you have complete control of this side of the map, right? And it makes it really difficult for your opponents, especially since you have such a dangerous pick comp. Instead, of course, you've got no wards. I don't know where you placed them. You've got one there. You've got one there. Again, this is a defensive ward that you don't need right now. It's this. You've had 2 wards in here for 6 minutes and they've yet to see anyone. It's not a good ward. And you've got a ward there. That's not a bad ward. It's not a good ward, because you're looking to be offensive. Right, the name of this game was Offensive Aggressive Warding, and it's just you went for the safe wards too frequently, and if you'd gone for these more aggressive wards earlier, they would have enabled you to look for aggressive wards. So, I don't know, you don't think you backed yet, which is unfortunate. It would have been nice to have backed. You've got a ward in there now, and you'll notice even if we just press the right button to get vision up, there we go. Even just having this ward makes this whole area, actually that's, when you're placing wards, place them as close to this edge as possible, because you really, having this extra little bit of vision is pretty much useless, but having more vision over here is amazing. I don't know if anyone's gonna watch this, or whoever plays this ward's gonna watch this. Johnny, having it right here would have been better than right there. That's just a tiny thing. Place your wards as close to the edge of them as possible. They give you more high quality vision. And you can tell you guys are you're being forced back in this situation. I mean, at this point this game starts to flip because their scaling comp starts to really come online. They've got, you know, Jinx has 2 items, Veigar's got 2 items, Nasus is doing his thing. He's up to, what's that, 100, 200 stacks. Like, he's starting to come online as well. So you're starting to lose this game. And, I mean, at this point, the game's pretty much over. Because you can't win teamfights anymore. They're really coming online. Hopefully that helps the vision a little bit. If you have any questions, feel free to ask. I will probably ignore you. Actually, I kid. I'll try to help.